Okay.
My hair okay?
Yeah, baby. So it says the stream is bad. You should have it on there. Share it out. Right, there we are. And can start chatting, baby. Okay. Right on. There we go. We're happening. It's acquired the stream. Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. Here's our menu for the day. Right, so let me come over here now, baby. So there you go. Turn down your honey. So there it is. Okay. Hey guys, what's up? What is up?
What's up?
I'm Omar. Oh, getting a little angle. Okay, there we go. Thanks for joining us here today. My name is Omar, and I will be the line cook here today. And this is my beautiful
Amy.
That's right. She's going to be behind the camera and keeping an eye on the chat. So if you guys have any questions,
Make sure you put them in caps so I can see them. Don't get confused with everything else.
that's right. And please share the stream. This is our first official stream to YouTube. We did one last week where we made California rolls and tempura shrimp. Yeah, that was some tasty shit. But unfortunately, that was on Facebook. But this time around, we got it all figured out. So this evening's or this afternoon's menu, we are going to make some ricotta cheese ravioli with parsley and sun-dried tomatoes. And we're going to serve it with a tomato meat sauce. So we'll get down to it. This is scheduled for 90 minutes. And so we'll jump to it and make sure you guys share this love and subscribe to our channel. Help us grow. We'll bring you weekly tutorials. And throughout the week, we will upload videos of whatever we cook. And in the community, we'll post images and stuff. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing. Join our group on Facebook, Feed Me a Tasty Shit. And of course, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell, and keep notified of what we're making. So if you don't have any ideas what to make for supper, just think, what's Amy and Omar cooking? Come check out our channel, and then you guys can get some ideas from us because we're always cooking all kinds of cool shit and tasty shit. So let's do it, baby.
All right.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to make is our sauce. We want to make sure that our sauce is done, and then after that, we're going to make our shells for the tortellini, or for the ravioli. I'm jumping the gun here. I wish I was making tortellini too, but
Can't do it all.
that's right. So for our sauce, what we're going to need is some hamburger. We're going to need some onions. I did one onion, and I did 4 cloves of garlic. You can do like 1 or 2 or none, but I go with 4 because I like garlicky stuff, right? And then I got some 2 sticks of shredded celery stick, and I have 1 large carrot shredded. So that's for our sauce. So we'll jump into our sauce. What's that, honey?
Did we show the tomatoes?
Yeah, and the tomatoes are right here. We have 1 can of crushed tomatoes. So we're going to cook that down, but of course we're not going to use that whole thing. I'm probably only going to use about half of it, and because we don't want our sauce to be too wet, because it's going to be going into, we want it to hug our sauce, and we don't want our ravioli to be drowning in it, right? We just want a nice thick sauce that just hugs it.
Coats it.
That's right, coats it. So that's a gooder. Let's keep an eye on the comments over here on this here, baby, on YouTube. So that way, if anyone has any questions, we can do. Shout outs to my buddy Karen. Thanks for coming out and playing, and to Sherry Putnam. Those are my good two friends, and thanks for showing up. How do we go to the comments here, baby? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, just give me a sec here, fellas and gals. We want
Says it's
to.
on.
Yeah, I wonder why there's no. Why you can't see. It's okay. We can just jump over here from time to time, like this, honey.
Oh, live chat. There we are.
Oh, there you go. You got her. Right on. Okay, so
Okay. Sorry about that.
we lost the knob to our lid. Happens to everybody. Come show them, babies. Lost the knob right here. It used to be right there, and it just like popped off one day. So we're just
Well,
gonna
it's
keep
well
it
used.
like this.
It's well used.
That's right. So here we go. Let's get our. Do we? Yeah, let's do that first. We'll get this in there. We'll probably want to drain it. Here, let me turn this down. All right, so we will get our hamburger going, break it up. Give it a seasoning, salt and pepper to taste. I know many people don't like salt in their food, and some do, like me. So I'll just do that. Now, what I do when I'm cooking hamburger, whether it's lean or extra lean, I just cook it and I season it. And once it's fully cooked, I drain it because I don't want to consume any of that fat. So I want to try to keep my hamburger as dry as I possibly can. Okay, so we've got this going.
Quinn in the background.
So shout outs to K-Dubs, to Quinn. That's whose music that's playing in the background. And we can't play our normal music like Eazy-E and Guns N' Roses or AC/DC or who else, honey? Anybody really for that matter, because YouTube flags our video and says that we have copyright content on there, so we can't listen to music while we're cooking. But thankfully, we know some aspiring artists that are contributing their music to us. So shout outs to them. We'll put their web address in the description. So if you guys like what you hear, you can check out their website and purchase yourself a CD and help an inspiring artist. And if you guys know anybody that wants to have their music featured on our channel, just tell them to shoot me a message and we'll arrange something. Okay, so we got this going. So we're going to be making our homemade ravioli. So it's going to be really easy. You guys stay tuned. That's going to be coming up right after we do up this hamburger. But like I said, I want to drain this stuff first because I don't want to eat any grease and shit like that, right? It's just, it's not good for you. So please share this video out to, wherever, and get people happening. I've noticed that there's really nobody doing live cooking like this on YouTube, aside from this one gentleman that I found yesterday. I think it's based out of Japan, and that was quite interesting to watch. If you guys want to check it out, just look up live cooking, and this is the only one that comes up, and I suppose now ours will come up too. Now, if you guys have any ideas for us that you'd like us to cook or even bake, like desserts and entrees and appetizers and such, toss those ideas down into the comments so that we'll check them out, and then we'll take a shot at it. Maybe your favorite recipe that you have and you like us to try, we'll go out and we'll get all the stuff and put it together. And that way we can understand one another a lot better, because food is the ambassador of all cultures, right, baby?
Mm-hmm. Everybody has to eat.
That's right, and good food too. Every culture has some really good food. So tonight, like last week, we focused on a part, just a very small part of the Japanese cuisine. And here, this weekend, we are, highlighting a bit of Mediterranean, Italian, Mediterranean food. Just a very small, spectrum of it. Just a one little pasta, and we know that there's hundreds of pastas. And who doesn't like pasta? Like, come on, really? Everybody loves pasta. It doesn't matter. Like tomatoes and macaroni.
Comfort food.
Man, that's some good stuff. Okay, so our hamburger here is browning. It's almost cooked, and you see, guys, this is what I mean with the grease. You see, check out all that grease, right? So that's that's the grease that I'm trying to eliminate. That's the reason why I haven't put any more seasonings in here. Besides just a little bit of salt and pepper, and this is lean, so check that out, eh? These guys are trying to poison us, selling us fat. Now you know what they do. It's like this
100% lean fat.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Okay, so I'm just breaking up all the big chunks here. So I don't want in my I want nice flowing smooth sauce, but of course we're going to braise this as well. I totally forgot about the beef stock. Some cow juice. I totally forgot about the cow juice. But that's fine. We'll there's enough cow juice around.
We got juice happening instead here.
That's right. Today is a sober cook. Sober cook for us today. We'll try to bring you guys like one drunken cooking sessions, and then a one sober one, followed by a drunken one, followed by hopefully a guest house cook. If you guys know anybody that's a house cook that wants to feature their favorite dish or their dessert, have them contact me, and we can arrange something, and we will stream them on our channel once a month. On one Sunday, instead of us cooking, we'll have a guest on board.
Shania said she's not considered a guest.
Yeah.
Say hi to Shania. Hi.
That's where we were waiting for last week.
Yeah, visiting from Enderby. Hopefully here to stay in a little while.
Okay, so we'll let that drain. Now I'm going to take my onions. Right here, I'm going to take some onions, toss them into a pan. Then I'm going to take my 4 cloves of garlic. Gonna toss those in there. And then I'm going to take a dash of olive oil. Nice little splash of olive oil.
Something so shiny.
We will allow that to cook. Yeah, don't let anything play aside from Quinn in the background.
I know.
Because these people,
they can't copyright us with this. This is my boy.
Yeah.
Our boy.
And then they want to, stifle us like that. Like we're trying to have fun here in cooking and trying to share our passion because we're foodies with other foodies like yourselves that's watching this show, that hopefully we inspire you to make something that we've created And we can't listen to music in the background. We can drink booze, we can smoke weeds, but God forbid we toss on a little bit of Easy E in the background, or a little bit of Tom Petty, and all of a sudden their panties get tied up in a knot, and they want to start hitting you with copyright infringements. It's like, well, goddamn, man. So here we have our onions and garlic, which is being sauteed. This is for our sauce. Like I said, the first thing that we want to make is our sauce. The sauce is the most important thing because after it's finished cooking, we can put it off to the side. We can allow it to simmer. And then we can begin to make our ravioli, which is not going to take that long. It's a very simple recipe, and it's very easy to make. We already have our water right here to boil our ravioli. Once it's made, and we'll toss it in, and
Smells good.
Now I haven't put any salt and pepper in my onion and garlic mixture here yet because I want to wait till I put my meat, because as you remember I seasoned my meat before. So still there's a little bit of salt in there, so when I put it in here I'm going to taste it and gauge it at that time whether it needs any salt or not, because I don't want to have a salty dish. So it's Thanksgiving in the U.S., honey. Thanksgiving. So
Thanksgiving weekend.
yeah, I believe so. I think that's a long weekend for them.
Well, happy Turkey
Happy
Day.
Thanksgiving to all of our American friends. Enjoy. Did you know that on Thanksgiving in the United States, that's the day that all the Native Americans fast as a form of protest? Because back in the day when the colonialists were celebrating Thanksgiving, the natives, they were starving, and they were in the midst of a famine, dying, and here were all these people eating all this good food. So because of that, the natives, they fast on Thanksgiving Day out of protest.
Mm-hmm.
So check this out, honey. So here we have our hamburger, and this was supposedly lean from the factory. But check that out.
That's what lean to me.
Check that out. Look at all that fat.
And water too, please.
Right, that's all fat. So it's a good practice to acquire when you're cooking hamburger that you pan fry it beforehand. Pan fried beforehand, and drain it. Get rid of all the fat. Just add a dash of olive oil to that. Start bringing all this together. Grab some thyme, some fresh thyme.
Only if you got time.
Toss that in there. Yeah.
That smells already.
Yeah, that thyme sure really stands out. So we will allow that to get in there like that. Then we will add our shredded
Celery.
Then we'll toss in our shredded carrots. Gotta mix around. Smells very nice. Too bad we can't put smells through the internet, but I bet you that day is coming.
Yeah. How though?
So I'm going to take a shot of cumin.
What?
Cumin? It's a very small bit of coriander powder.
We like to use our yogurt in here. Keeps the spices fresher.
That's right.
Got those little bags that they give you. So many spices.
We'll grab some oregano. We'll toss a bit of oregano in there like that.
We wanted fresh basil, but we didn't get it.
Yeah. So the recipe had to change. Slightly altered, but that's fine. So toss this around like that. Notice how dry it is. So what's next page?
Still getting used to this camera. Sorry if it's all kind of all over the place.
Drop about a cup of water in there.
Needs to calm down. Put the water in there.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll just allow that to cook. Keep an eye on it while it braises for me before I toss anything else in there. So take this and put that over here, put this over here. I guess I will make
Got our ingredients ready.
this against our next set. Some eggs right here. Allow that to cook. So while that's cooking, what we're going to do is we're going to make our ravioli for our dough. So what we do is I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So what we do is we create like a little well down here, a little hollow point. I've got 2 eggs right here, which I'm going to drop right in there like that.
Looks so cozy in there.
And now with using a spoon, I'm going to break that. And what I'm going to do, oh sorry, a fork. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start bringing the flour in with circular motions. Now as I did that, now I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of oil, olive oil. I'm going to drop that in there. Give that a mix. Then now you can begin to bring the entire thing together like this. Start spinning your bowl. After a bit, you're going to have to get your hands in there.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. The initial part is just making these blobs. So here we go. Toss a little water in there. It's very little.
quiet too.
Turn it up on the stereo. Knead like this with your fist.
Just take your frustrations out on it.
Give it a roll.
So have fun. Keep the good vibes, eh?
Yeah. One arm gets sore, switch to the other one until we've collected all of that. And there we go. We've got some pasta dough for our. Now this dough is very versatile. You can use this dough for spaghetti. You can use it for fettuccine. You can use it to make noodles for lasagna. You can make shells if you want. It's just a very versatile recipe, and it's very easy. Like I just showed, 2 cups of flour, 2 eggs, quarter cup of olive oil. And if you don't have olive oil, don't worry about it. It's really not required. Instead of the olive oil, you can just simply replace that with some water. Speaking of water, we'll allow this to braise just a tad bit more. Oh yeah, the flavors are there. Just allow that to braise. We're braising it so that hamburger just begins to fall apart. Come here over here, baby. Shows how much water that's in there. Right, that's fine. Don't worry about it because most of that water is just going to evaporate here in the next couple of minutes. So don't fret yourself. So again, we'll allow that to sit. And now from earlier, baby, watch yourself. From earlier, I've got a little bit of leftover water from our tomatoes. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop that in there. Give it a good mixture. Now let's grab a spoon here and ow. Definitely. Yeah, it needs some salt and some black pepper.
Oh.
There we go. No, that's fine. It's not much. You need a little sauce with that salt, man. Because that's just far out, dude. That's just gnarly, man. All right, so we've got that going over there. And we've got our dough mixed up, right? So I'm going to cover this. I'm just going to put it away, put it aside for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. Now here comes the next fun part. Now, here's a surprise I had.
Facebook, like, share, comment, shout out to the gang, my beautiful captain, cameraman, all this more.
Aha! And a shout out to my beautiful camera woman, Amy, here. Aha, look what I got here. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. So you're probably going to ask me what I got there, right, baby?
Look like big Hershey Kisses.
So go ahead and ask me what I got there.
What you got in there, baby?
Well, my beautiful heart, sweetheart, I'm going to show you what I've got in there as soon as I find my towel. I could have sworn I had a... Oh, I used it for my
Yeah,
pasta.
I was
Haha, stoner.
Covered it up.
So let me clear my work area off because it's important to have a clean work area.
You betcha.
So just put that there. Now I'll show you guys what I got in here. This is why I've got this still out. This is for our sauce. One, all natural, nothing added, roasted red pepper. It smells amazing. And then in this one, behind door number 2, we have a roasted yellow pepper. Again, nothing added, no salt, no additives, no GMOs, no chemtrails. None of that was used in this dish. So we've got a tasty here that we're going to drop into our
Hot stuff.
yeah. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, it's almost orgasmic. And notice I said almost. Right. There we go. Some people like those and some people don't. I just sometimes use them and I sometimes don't. And Gilly is the star of the show.
Where is he? Hey, Gilly. Gilly. Just love him.
There we go. So here we have our roasted peppers. So we'll toss those. Why did I shut that off? Stupid. Okay.
Whoops. Get all that juice in there.
Just dump all that juice in there. Oh, yeah. That too. Yeah, they can't hear me. Okay, so now the fun part, next one. Get everything all ready right here. So we're going to use this, we're going to use that, we're going to use this. We're going to use this. It's important to braise your hamburger so that you don't have any large chunks. You want consistency throughout your sauce. So if you have hamburger that looks like hamburger and then periodically as you're eating it you get chunks in your mouth, that throws off the consistency of the dish. And thus it affects the experience of the dish. Because food is an experience. Right? We are here to eat. Eat, sleep, shit, and screw. That's what we're here to do. And that even rhymed. Wow,
Yeah.
imagine that.
Important to know it.
So we got ourselves some ricotta cheese right here. 1 egg. Some sun-dried tomatoes. Some parsley. And some Italian Parmesan Reggiano cheese.
Yeah. Something like that.
Salt and pepper is what's needed. So let's grab a bowl and we will make our stuffing. This in it.
Ooh.
So that's our
It's ricotta cheese.
ricotta cheese. We will dump this shit out. I should use really a chopstick to do this. So we got a ricotta cheese. All that work was really unnecessary for the plastic container in which it came in. See how they waste
The
plastic?
waste.
And then they blame us that we have to lower our footprint, carbon footprint. What a sack of shit, eh? As you just noticed, they had a bag stuffed inside a plastic container. Why not just have a bag? Oh yeah, somebody might come along and poke some poison in there is their argument, right? But common sense tells me that if a bag was poked, it would bleed out. All right, so
Anywho.
off to the next ingredient. Oh yeah, guys, here is a very important thing that I want to share with you guys. And it has to do with food. Now, when you go to your supermarkets or wherever that you're shopping, the meat that you're getting, was butchered long ago, and they put dye in it so that it appears to be red or appears to be pink, like
Fresh.
in the case of salmon. Or yeah, that's right, it appears to be fresh. Now, another thing what these people do is that when they haven't sold, let's say, a cake, what they do is that they cut that in half and then they put a new best before date on it. So if they make a full cake and best before date it's in 2 weeks from now, what they'll do is in 2 weeks they'll cut that cake in half and saying that it's a new product and then put a new best before date on it. And if there's any rotten fruit on it, they just pick that off and put new stuff on it. Now let's say if that half a cake didn't sell before the best before date, the next time it comes around, they split that in halves, and then the other halves, and then eventually they try to sell you slices of cake, which was expired like a month ago, a month and a half ago. And I remember it has dairy products and such in it, so you can get very sick. But this is their deviant little ways of trying to turn a profit by selling you rotten food.
Seasoned meat?
That's right.
Pre-seasoned?
Pre-seasoned meat that you see, don't eat that because they tried to sell that chicken, let's say, and nobody bought that chicken, so it just sat there and sat there and sat there, and then once it starts to go rotten, they come up with all these spices and seasonings and then season it
Cover it up.
to cover up the smell of the rot and within the meat, and then they try to sell you that as a new product, and then again putting a new best before date on it. So don't ever buy anything that's seasoned or that's been split in half. Now that you know, you can say that you heard it on Feeding You Tasty Shit. Okay, so our meat here looks like it's braised quite nicely. Smells really good. But you know, I think I'm just going to give it one more shot before I add my tomatoes to it, because really I'm not going to use that much tomatoes. So just that one braised nice. So while that continues to cook for us, this is why I wanted to make this sauce first, guys. Not that you'll see how easy the ravioli is. Okay, so now back over here, we'll take some Parmesan Reggiano cheese. We'll dump some of that in there like that, and then we'll get ourselves our sun-dried tomatoes, and we'll toss those in there. We will season it with some salt, a bit of pepper. Put that aside there for a minute. Now what we'll need is some celery. Parsley, sorry. Now when you bring like bunches like this home, the best practice to do is to cut it at a 45-degree angle. Like that, 45-degree angle, and toss it in a bowl of water. What that does is that it keeps it nice and firm, right?
Turkey.
Instead of turkey, instead of being soggy and wilted and shit. You don't want that. So we'll get ourselves some yeah, remember like this. This is how, because you keep that knuckle in front of it all. Like this. Show it from the bottom side here, honey. You know, from my like that. You want to keep your thumb, like all the fingers behind, your middle finger, stick your knuckle out, and then just use your other fingers as like a conveyor belt to move it back. And then just keep that finger stationary, and then just slide the knife up and down in it. Be careful you don't hack your finger off. Try doing it slow at first, and then after a little bit of practice, you can speed it up. Okay, so here's our parsley. We'll drop that in there into our mix. Remember, it's very important to have a clean workspace. Okay, so here's our mixture. So what we'll do is we'll grab an egg, toss an egg in there, because what the egg will do is it'll help bind all the ingredients together. So we'll just begin to mix it. Use a spatula, your hands. Mix thoroughly. Okay. And here we go. We have our it's very tasty. This is our stuffing for our ravioli. So we'll take this, we'll toss that into the fridge. So, the next mission, pretty good. We've been at it 49 minutes and we have a lot made already. So, very nice. So, here's our sauce. Allow that to dry out since it's braising. So we'll keep up with that. Come back to you guys on that in a few minutes. So, what we're going to need for the round 3 here some flour, a chopstick, a rolling pin. Now I understand not everyone has a rolling pin. I understand that not everyone has a pasta machine. Because really I've been to many kitchens throughout my life as you guys. I don't know how many of you have seen a pasta machine that the house comes equipped with, or people have a pasta machine. You have to be a serious foodie to have that. I'm a pretty serious foodie and I don't have it because I like working, you know, the old-fashioned way with my nobody's making comments. Okay, so check it out. Our sauce is dried out beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my tomatoes, and that's it. I don't want it too tomatoey because it gives you heartburn. But you guys are welcome to use as much tomatoes as you like. I would just use a half a can. Just mix that in well.
Yeah. Mainstream rap noise. No generic rap noise. Yeah.
Yeah, win.
Okay, so there it is. Be careful, baby. It's bubbling. So there's our sauce. So I'm gonna just cover it up, allow it to dry up. I've dropped the heat a little bit below medium. Oh, almost forgot.
Oh, those red peppers. Roasted peppers, I mean.
Yeah, add our roasted peppers. That's the last. Okay, so there's our ravioli sauce. We'll put a lid on it over here, and we'll have some fun. So we've got our dough here. Go like that. Give it a karate chop.
Hiya!
We'll bring this back. Sprinkle a little flour out right here. Flatten this out. Now, normally, you would put this through a pasta machine, but like I said, I don't have one. Plus, I enjoy the process. It's kind of like making a pie for a pizza. Just spread it out. Roll it out like that. And then here we go. This is how we make our ravioli.
The roly part.
Drop it over here.
The roly and ravioli.
Yeah. See how it has a nice yellow color? That's from the olive oil and the egg yolk. Some people just use egg whites. Some people just use egg yolks. I like using whole egg. Because, you know, why not? Nothing I can do with it after I'm done. I don't have anything planned for it for tomorrow. So,
No sense in wasting it.
yeah. No, you want your dough to be thin. No, like about the width of, like, say, a fettuccine noodle.
Woo!
We'll roll it
I
out.
would feel so bad at that.
When I was younger, I mastered that. Sat there for hours.
Yeah.
All right. Sprinkle a bit of flour on there. And we'll just hold it up. Here. We'll repeat the process for this one. I'll do this one real fast.
Show your skills. I don't have very good camera skills, but I'm learning.
It takes time, baby.
I feel like I'm all over the place.
It's okay. We're not like CBS, you know.
I know. Plus, we tell the truth.
Exactly.
You have to see these here?
Not on me, it's at home.
It's on YouTube. YouTube. On the app. Freaks me out every time you do that.
All right.
No, it looks like a heart. Look at that. Made with love.
That's right. And there's our pasta. So, put that here. All done up.
Ooh, look at that. What's her?
Okay, so now that we've got our pasta made, the next thing we need is some egg wash. what I do is I just grab an egg and I toss a little bit of cream into it like that. Just very little. Basically to get more yield out of the egg, I suppose, and plus make it a bit runny. So we've got that. Let's grab a drink because I'm sweating here.
Can we fill it? Yeah, it's hot. There's more in the fridge.
Schneider, can you open up the window
It's open.
all the way? Yeah.
It's fine with the fan on. It's too loud.
Okay, well, so anywho, let's have a quick look-a-loo here on our sauce. Oh yeah, see honey? Perfect. Yeah, perfect. See that little grain that's shiny on the side? Right there, that's water. Right there, see how it's shiny on the edge of the pot right here? Right, it's all shining right along the edge, right along here. You can see it better in the light, but that's water. So when it's shining, it's water. But when it looks like that, then that is condensed sauce. So what we'll do is we will drop the heat down to say 1 and toss our lid on it. We'll just put it on 1, allow it to simmer on that. Just very quickly. Remember, it's very important to have a clean work surface. Okay, so now we'll need a pizza cutter, fork, we'll grab our pasta dough here. Lay that out like that. I'm just going to square it off. Like that. Put this one here. Here's our filling.
Yummy filling.
Give it another quick mix. Make sure that it's thoroughly mixed and that the sun-dried tomatoes are not clumped together, because you want consistency through every bite. You don't want to be eating and get a big mouthful of sun-dried tomatoes, even though they are tasty. Okay, so go like this. One piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, and 4 piece. Maybe I can get a mini over here. Okay, So, now that we got that, this is where the old pizza cutter comes in handy. So you have about 2 fingers worth right here. So you come with 2 fingers worth over here, a little bit over, and then you take your pizza cutter, cut it right across, like that. Center out your stuffing, like that. Take your egg wash, like you're painting.
But food is an art, right?
That's right. That. Keep that away. That. Then take this. Put it over like that. Like that. Now just use your fingers. Squeeze out as much air as you can. That. Squish that one. Now, we'll take this one, close it on the sides. That.
You want to get in his way?
Take the bottom and this one here. Out of there. Okay, so we've got our one batch right there.
Yummy.
Now we'll make second different type of ravioli. Take this, bring it here. We'll cut this in. Go like this. One. Two. Three. 4.
Righto.
Repeat. It's okay. Okay, so 1. Two. Eight. And 10. And then we can reuse this along with those other scraps. That, we'll put those off to the side for now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
So you could do them in little squares or little circles.
Yeah.
Let's get creative.
Trade check about that. So remember to egg wash. You can do the whole thing, doesn't matter. That.
Oh, there's bongs in the background.
That. I will take this.
Ah, I like this. Little flying saucers, baby.
Yeah, like little UFOs.
Nobody says flying saucers anymore.
Okay. We can do that. And just place those on top of each other and squeeze the edges so that when you boil them, they don't come apart. They're like little UFOs.
Mm.
Like that. And like that. Now, if we want it to be fancy, like this, put that together. Those are for half moons.
Yeah. I tried.
Yeah, I'll do the half moons next. How about that? Give it that distinct ravioli look. I guess that would be more like tortellini is like what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, when you're making smaller.
yeah. Our sauce should be pretty much ready now.
Cooking away over there. Smells good. And got the water boiling for the
Yep.
raviolis.
Like that. So, what time are we at?
There. 3:29.
3:21. So we've just got a few minutes left. So I will do an example one, and then we can do our supper afterwards. How about that, honey?
Sounds good.
Because we want to keep it at 90 minutes, right? And
Yeah.
we're almost to our 90-minute mark here. So what we'll do is we will clean our surface area because it's very important to have what?
A clean surface.
That's right, a clean work surface.
Area.
So we go like that. We'll take our sauce off. We'll leave that on for now. I'll go like this maybe. We'll get our skillet out like that. Some sauce. Is this Tyler?
Tyler, yeah, you sound.
Yeah, I could tell right away. He tried.
Yeah.
So there's our meat sauce. Smells just fantastic. Very nice. So we'll take our pasta and you want to show it over here? When they're floating, they're ready. We'll toss our UFOs in there.
Here comes the pro.
Okay, baby, for a minute. So in this pan over here, get your tomato meat sauce. That you're going to serve with your dish. Like that. Over here.
I was just rolling around in there.
Here we have our sauce braising. Just take remember we put some thyme in earlier, so if you see any stems, big stems like that, just take the stems out. Otherwise, this looks very tasty. There's our pasta. See how it's boiling and it's floating to the top. Put that in there. Over here. Oh, here's another stem.
Just doing the plating.
And there's our ravioli. We can go like this. Top it off with some cheese.
Yeah.
All right.
Bon appetito.
I'll grab the camera here, baby, if you want to do a taste test. Shania?
Slice your open.
Let's get a
This
good
one
image
here?
of it, baby. Hang on. Baby, hang on. Let's grab a.
Just slice your open like this.
Yep, do it up. Show the middle. Yeah, look at that.
Tasty shit.
I wish I had a better camera. Give it a shot, baby. Grab a fork there, Shania. There's one there for you.
Mm. Mm. That's good.
Yeah, is that some tasty shit?
That's tasty shit.
All right, let me give it a shot here, honey.
You know, cut one of the. That one's open. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
You can use a little bit of seasoning, so for me it's not salty enough, but each to their own. You know, I always add salt before I eat. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's some tasty shit. Wonderful. So here's our dish, guys. Here's our dish, and thank you very much for tuning in today and joining us. So we were pretty good, 90 minutes. We started at 2 o'clock and it's 3:30. So yay, pat to the back to us for keeping on track. We did an amazing thing here in the last 90 minutes. We began with our tomato and beef sauce. And along the way, I altered the recipe a little bit. I added some roasted bell peppers. And then afterwards, we've made our ricotta cheese sun-dried tomato stuffing for our ravioli. And then we made our dough and we cut out our ravioli pieces. And we, made the ravioli. We boiled it. We cooked it, and then there it is. And we tasted it all in 90 minutes. So that's awesome. Great work. Shout out to Amy for going to the store and putting together all of the ingredients together, and as well as Shania. There's our daughter. That's who we were waiting for when we were making California rolls.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us, and you like our video, please subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so when we go live you can see this. If you have any ideas of any other tutorials that you'd like us to do, give us a shout in the comments there doesn't matter what it is. It can be an appetizer, an entree, could be a soup, it could be dessert, cookies, it could be banana bread. It doesn't really matter. But I think next week Amy's going to do a little bit of baking. So she'll be doing some cookies and some banana breads and make some homemade bread. So we're going to plan that for next week. It's not written in stone because I just surprised her with it because he just looked at me and said, I am.
Okay.
So right on, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for the love. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. And besides that, thank you for your afternoon with Cooking with Amy and Omar on Feeding You Tasty Shit. Share our video, and much love to you all. Keep your vibrations high. Keep your distortion high. Stay away from bad foods, processed foods, things like that, which are bad for your, vibrational distortion. That's the way they want it, but let's defeat them. And slowly, Amy and I's goal is to transition into a plant-based diet. So as we go along over the next couple of months, we'll be switching from cooking meat dishes and turning to vegetarian dishes. We're not going to go 100% vegetarian, but we will cook, seafood and other meat dishes. But, it's going to be mostly a lot of vegetarian, so we're looking forward to that. To raise our vibration, our distortion. I love you all. Much love. And that's Miss Amy. She was behind the camera. I was the cook. And that was our creation. Here, baby. Come and hold it. You want to show the sauce. The dough over here. Right before we and we're signing out from British Columbia, Canada. This was Tasting You, Feeding Shit. Tasty, feeding you tasty shit.